It's been fun. It's been a fun challenge every night for me. Just downloading info on the pitchers, making sure I'm on time. The daily preparation's been fun. You never expect it. There's some times where if he throws his pitch, it's gonna get demolished. No, can't explain. Just as long as I get extension and get lift on the ball, it's gonna go home, away, pitches and etc. So it's just one of those groups.
Well, if Giancarlo's all prepared and ready to go, so are we. The Rockies and the Marlins finish off a weekend series, and the Fish go for a sweep. The Rockies in a postseason spot, but Miami's playing well right now. They go for a 3-gamer here on this Sunday. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz, along with Todd Hollinsworth. Just watching that video montage, listening to Giancarlo, it feels like it's his world. We're just living in it right now.
Hey, we're along for the ride. It's so much fun to watch, and it's more than the home runs. I was talking about this during the pregame show. 58 balls, 110 miles an hour off the bat. He's not only hitting well, he's playing smart, he's thinking smart, and he's executing his game plan right now.
And he's one away from the franchise record for home runs in a season. Gary Sheffield's record is 42, and it doesn't matter what park, what pitcher, they're going out, and they're going out in a great distance.
Yeah, they really are, and that's been the fun part of this run. We've watched him do it against a knuckleballer. We've seen elevated fastballs. We've seen sliders and changeups last night. I mean, he is all over. It's so strong from the backside right now. Trusting his swing, believing in his swing, and then executing the game right between his ears. That's what this is all about. You're seeing it from pitch to pitch now. He's talked about it. He's not focusing on at-bats. He's focusing on moments.
If he homers today, it'll be his 250th in his career, and it would be a nice shot in the arm for Vance Worley, who gets the start. And how about Worley? Back-to-back starts against the Nationals, and Worley gave up just 1 run.
That's right. And how about 7 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs the start before that? He owns the Nationals, if you will. Great stuff. Trying to transition that into everybody else. He's got that good cutter, that good two-seam fastball working for him right now.
The Vanimal gets the baseball for the Fish as Worley gets set to face a very powerful Colorado lineup. We'll hear from the Major League veteran on a nice run for the Fish when we return to Marlins Park. Craig Minervini in center field.
Well, Rich, thank you very much. As we get set here, the Marlins go for a sweep. They turn to a guy who's been very reliable last couple of times out in Vance Worley.
And last couple of times out, only very reliable against the division-leading Washington Nationals, absolutely dominating them. As Todd said, 13 innings pitched. He's only given up 1 earned run the last 2 starts here in August. So, wow, you talk to him, and there's a little bit of changes he's made, and that's the success he's been having.
He really worked. I didn't pitch a lot in July, went for over 2 weeks without pitching, and he told me he made a big change in his grip, and that's helped him out.
Figure out how to pitch all over again and bounce from the minor league ball to a big league ball, and really just learn how to start commanding all my pitches again after you know, going down to minor leagues and then back up and then going to the pen and then not throwing and then coming back. And it's not easy. It's not easy, but you know, somebody's got to do it.
Vance went from pitching on July 1st. He didn't pitch again until July 19th. So that's not easy either. And I'm sure it's a surprise to some of the Marlins, but I will tell you this, he's a confident guy. It's not a surprise to Vance Worley once he got control in the bullpen sessions.
And he's not, you know, he's not a, I'm not going to say he's a young guy, he's only 29, but you look at his veteranship, he's major league debut in 2010, so he's been up and down. He knows what it is to pitch in the big leagues, have success here, and it's nice to see him figure something out.
You played next to Sheffield. You saw that great season. He had 42 homers, and that was one of the great seasons you've ever seen.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
This Stanton thing, 41 and 47 games to go.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, they're 2 different hitters. You look at Sheffield's numbers. He had 150 some walks that year.
Right.
He had 120 RBIs. I mean, he was a monster. And he did not hit a home run the last 14 games of the season.
Right.
Because of you. I didn't know that until you told me that. But you talk about a season that he's having. This stretch that he's having is absolutely remarkable.
Unbelievable. All right, it's going to be fun to watch. Can he tie? Can he break the long-standing record in Marlins history? He's already one of only 2 men to hit 40 homers in a season as a member of the Marlins. He'll go for that as the Marlins go for the sweep next.
Sports Florida is brought to you by Jeep. By Vico Painting Contractors. Find out more at vicopainting.com. By your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. And by Southwest Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Beautiful shot on a South Florida Sunday afternoon. The Rockies and the Marlins ready to go. Vance Worley on the mound, making start number 8.
There he is. Outstanding stuff over his last 2 starts. 13 innings, 8 hits, only 1 earned run. Both those starts against the Nats. He's had a fantastic cutter, 2-seamer going, throws the fastball 92% of the time, mixing a few knuckle curves.
Facing a Rockies lineup that includes 3 top 10 hitters right out of the chute: Blackmon, LeMahieu, Arenado. And that cutter cuts all the way down to the chute tops of one Charlie Blackmon, who is having an incredible season. Look at the on base, you see the runs, the batting average. He leads the major leagues in runs, in triples, multi-hit games, total bases. That one flipped up towards the seats. He is 2nd in batting average, 3rd in slug. Here's the rest of the Rockies. We've met Blackmon, DJ LeMahieu, Nolan Arenado, Gerardo Parra in the cleanup spot. Carlos Gonzalez slumping but moved up to 5th. Pat Valaika started short. Brian McMahon, his first major league start at first base. Ryan Hannigan behind the plate, and German Marquez hits 9th. Worley comes in and gets a high strike. It's 2-2.
Worley's been particularly dominant against the left-handed hitters of late, those national left-handed hitters. It's about right here where he throws that 2-seam fastball at the front hip and runs it back towards the inside corner with 2 strikes.
Blackmon, a very unique leadoff hitter, tall and rangy, 6'3". Cutter misses in. He does have some speed. He swiped 11 bags, but what he does best: A, get on base, and B, knock the ball all over the yard. 25 doubles, 13 triples. That's best in baseball. And 27 home runs. Busted bat. Nice pitch. Hey, Mike Aviles, welcome to the show. And for the rest of the Marlins defense, here's Todd.
And here's your Marlins defense for today's ball game. Marlins going for the sweep. Ozuna, Yelich, Stanton. That's your outfield. Dietrich, Rojas. Aviles at second base today for D. Gordon. Talise gets the start at first. JT Realmuto back behind the plate along with Vance Worley.
DJ LeMahieu now. The Rockies murderers row doesn't start in the 3 spot and go 3-4-5. It starts with Blackmon, LeMahieu, and then it ends with Arenado. Not that the rest of the Rockies are slouches or anything, but these 3 guys really stand out. LeMahieu an all-star, Blackmon an all-star, Arenado of course an all-star. There's Nolan. 0 for 8 is LeMahieu in the series.
That's the one thing you credit the Marlins with so far in this series. Of course, they won the first 2 ball games. They've been able to break up the hot hitters. You know, Blackmon's had his impact. He's been leading off, getting on base very consistently throughout the first 2 ball games, but they've been able to separate it out. You mentioned LeMahieu, hitless. Arenado had a big home run in game 1, hitless last night. So Marlins have done a really good job, their pitching has, in kind of separating out the star players and shutting down the vados, if you will, giving themselves an opportunity to win baseball games.
Up the middle, that's a clean single into center field. So DJ LeMahieu, Rocky's second baseman, is on at first, and here comes Nolan Arenado. Arenado last night was ejected from the ball game after a strikeout on a check swing. He and the first base umpire last night, Pat Hoberg, didn't see eye to eye. Guess who's behind home plate working the game today? It's Pat Hoberg with Tony Randazzo at first, Jerry Davis at second, and Andy Fletcher at third.
Well, certainly would explain some of the pleasantries you saw right there from Arenado. Making up for last night, if you will. Hey, how's it going this morning? Hope everything's going well. You know, the little conversations you see inside the game.
Arenado rather quiet this series, saved that opposite field homer. 1 for 7. And with LeMahieu at first base, Arenado fouls it off.
That home run number 26 on the season for him in game 1. Now has 100 RBIs. First one in Major League Baseball, 2 100 RBIs. 3 consecutive seasons, 100 RBIs or more. On his way to 130 if he gets there. Be the first player since Prince Fielder to do that 90 through 92.
Ends up on his back knee.
I told you the knuckle curve doesn't come often, but when it does, it serves a purpose, and you see it there. Only throws it about 8% of the time, and usually you save pitches like that for the best hitter in the other team's lineup. Well, that's what Vance just did.
Arenado protecting the plate. They count 1-2. Win last night pushed the Marlins record closer to 500. They're 5 under at 55 and 60. And it bounced Colorado from sole possession of second in the West and that #1 wild card spot into a tie with the Diamondbacks. Both teams at 65 and 51 now. But don't sleep on the Cardinals. Or the Cubs for that matter now, because the Cardinals have caught the Cubs even in the Central. And one of those two teams occupies one of the wild card spots. Into the bat. Rolls out to second. Aviles underhand scoop to Talise. Arenado is out. And here comes Gerardo Parra. Parra as well held in check somewhat. 1 for 9. That one was a solo homer in the series. And he's one of the best hitters in baseball since post All-Star break.
Right. 5 in last night's ball game, though. Marlins again making nice adjustments throughout the series. Brad Ziegler did a fantastic job against Parra last night. Saved his best pitch, that little backup slider he threw him. Boy, it just locked up Parra. He threw the emergency hack out there. It was good to see Ziegler pick up the save. And for Parra, one of the hottest hitters in the game, Rich, as you mentioned.
Jam shot. Nice hop. Talise to the bag. And Vance Worley looks sharp. Retires the Rockies here in the first. Giancarlo coming to the plate, hunting for a piece of a club record. 41 homers and counting. Stanton and the Fish, their first swings today. Park. Fish with a little different look in their lineup in this one. They'll be facing German Marquez, the young Venezuelan.
German Marquez, here's your AutoNation scouting report real quick for you. Rockin' rookie Rocky. Yeah, say that 3 times fast. 9-4, 3.88 ERA on the seasons. Won his last 4 decisions, 2.95 ERA. Outstanding stuff. All right, breaking it down. That's key number 2. one of the best curveballs in the game right now. He's got a very good fastball, 95 miles an hour. His curveball about 25% of the time. Keep an eye out for it today. And lengthy starts. Last 5 times out, 6 innings or more. So he has been kind of their ace. In fact, we were told before the game today, if they were in a 1-game wild card, which season ended today, that's exactly what they'd be doing, this young man would be getting the baseball.
He has been impressive. He's 2-0 to Dietrich. And that's one of the changes in Don Mattingly's lineup. Derek Dietrich up in the leadoff spot. D. Gordon not in the lineup today. And you got Mike Aviles in there as well. Aviles getting the start at second. That one runs in, and Dietrich, the count 3-1. Dietrich's not a bad guy to have in that leadoff spot. Generally gets into deep counts, and if you come close to him, he's a ball magnet.
Not lately. He's been locked in, though. He's due, right?
That's up. Dietrich's aboard. That sets up nicely for Stanton and his first at bat of the afternoon. Let's roll through Miami's lineup. It's brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Giancarlo's last 9 games, 8 home runs and an OPS of almost 1,600. Wow. Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna, JT Realmuto, Tomas Talis is at first base. Miguel Rojas out at short. Aviles is out at second base, and Vance Worley hits ninth. And here is Stanton now. 8 homers last 9 games, 20 in his last 32. And a fastball starts his day from Marquez.
He's got a 13-game hitting streak versus the Rockies. Oh, by the way, you see the 5 for 8 in the series, the 2 home runs, 362 career average versus the Rockies, his favorite team to hit against.
Takes a rip at a fastball at 95. And the count quickly at 0-2. Stan last night also had 2 hits to the right side, a double into right center, a single through that vacated spot out where second baseman normally patrol. And just a good hard fastball there at 96. Marquez figured he'd challenge Stanton, and he does, and strikes him out.
Let's check out the Rockies defensively for this afternoon's ball game. Trying to avoid the sweep. Parra gets the start in left field. Blackman in center. Cargo's it back and right. Arenado, Baleka, LeMahieu. McMahon gets his first major league start over at first base. Big day for him. Hannigan behind the plate. Marquez on the mound.
Yelich now. Smacks one to center. That's Blackman out there. He catches just about everything in the vicinity. Yelich hits it on the button. 2 outs, and here comes Ozuna. The Marlins have been able to reverse that ugly trend in which they had on the road, in which Giancarlo Stanton would hit home runs. In 5 games on the road trip, Stanton homered. Marlins went 1-4 in those ball games, but here he's homered in the first 2 of the series, and they've won both games. Ozuna 0 for 4 last night, knocked in a run. He had 2 hits and 2 walks on Friday night.
He loves Marlins Park. 333 here at home. 16 home runs.
That curveball from Marquez is one that a lot of folks talk about.
He likes it. It's a big pitch for him. He'll start to introduce it. I guess his first time through. You saw it right there. Certainly was not on its mark.
Elevates a fastball. A little walk for Ozuna.
I think that probably will be the challenge today. Listen, Marquez is known for throwing strikes, but they've got to get him in the zone. And right now, it's been around the strike zone a little bit. Marlins hitters have chased just a bit. This early day game today.
He's working with a veteran catcher in Ryan Hannigan. I think that's left over from Superhero Night.
Right. Spider-Man.
It was Friday night. Ozuna sends it out to right field. Carlos Gonzalez is there, makes the catch. German Marquez navigates through the first. for Billy's birthday. Dinger on the right. One of the Reds mascots, Gapper. Whoa! What?
Whoa!
That's the only dinosaur I've seen that's able to do that.
It's moves like that scare the 6-year-olds, you know.
Yes. Stanley Sea Panther is here. Looks like Orbit is here from the Astros. And Vance Worley is here as well. Carlos Gonzalez, Pat Valleca, and Ryan McMahon. Gonzalez cuts and misses. Cargo last night had 2 hits. He is 3 for 8 with a double.
Picked up his first RBI on the road since May 24th last night. Almost 50 games on the road this year, Rich. Cargo has 7 RBIs on the season on the road. I mean, it's really hard to figure out what's going on there. This guy has been an all-star and one of the best outfielders in the game for quite some time.
Strike 3 called. You could hear Pat Hoberg call it. And Vance Worley has his first strikeout. Plenty of the plate. Tomorrow is a Salute and Serve Monday, as we invite those who served to join us for a ball game here at Marlins Park. Active and retired U.S. military personnel, veterans, firemen, and police as well. You get 2 complimentary tickets when showing the official service IDs at Marlins Park ticket office. For more information, visit marlins.com/promotions. There's a liner in the center off the bat of Pat Valleca. And Valleca, the former UCLA Bruin, is 2 for 2 in this series. Remember, he had a pinch hit last night. And here comes Ryan McMahon.
His first big league at bat last night. Deep fly ball to center field. His numbers in AAA, 375, 50 RBIs, gap to gap, line to line. Sprays the ball around, definitely has some power. Rockies have been trying to get him some at bats up here, obviously making his first big league start today. He's played a variety of positions in the minor leagues, so they can get him some playing time.
Mom was here last night, girlfriend here as well. This is a guy that, and you talk about Giancarlo Stanton and his recruitment to USC as a wide receiver, defensive back. He chose baseball. USC also offered this guy a scholarship, both football and baseball, recruited in both sports. High chopper, Dietrich fires to first, just in time to get him. Going to move Valleca to second.
Nice job by Dietrich. Has to wait for it to come down. It's all about the transition from ball in glove to hand, and a strong throw across to Talise. Deny McMahon his first big league hit.
Now you got Ryan Hannigan. Hannigan, a veteran. One of those guys you see on a lot of clubs getting a start on the weekend, and the Marlins are going to put him on. Now Hannigan's hitting .264, but Marquez can swing the bat. He is 6 for 33 this year, so what you're banking on here is that a position player like Hannigan can do more damage than German Marquez.
Well, Hannigan is hit .357 over his last 8 games, so he's a bit of a hot hitter. I just believe you're going to get the pitcher out. Should be easier to get out. You see the athletic setup from Marquez already.
Worley gets a strike to open the at-bat. Breaking ball, bouncer at short. Rojas to second, and he gets the out. He was thinking third and then reversed course. Got the out. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Scary moment for Bryce Harper, but the news this morning is much better than expected. Hyperextended left knee, bone bruise, on the disabled list, no timetable for his return, no tear in any ligament. Andrew Benintendi, 2 3-run homers as the Red Sox beat the Yankees 10-5, and the Cubs, with the Cardinals climbing up, 7th inning solo homer lifts the Cards into first place tie with the Cubs, an 8-game win streak. Harper's injury, this was scary because watching it, it's so violent, you expected the worst on a wet night in D.C.
Ugh. And I think that's the worst part about this is you start to add up the circumstances. Wet night in D.C., wet field. Yeah, you've got to play the games, no doubt. But you hate to see your star player have something like this happen. So far, look at Dusty Baker. Hand to the head. Look at the rain coming down. Oh, by the way, trying to play in it. I got a doubleheader today. Carry him off the field.
Miami in the second now. JT Realmuto, Tomas Telis, and Miguel Rojas. Yeah, the hopes and dreams of the Nationals and their fans were down behind first base for about 10 minutes last night, but he was walking today in the clubhouse. It's a bone bruise. Mike Rizzo met the press. And thankfully for the Nationals and for Harper, no ligament damage. And there's no real timetable yet for him coming back. But it's going to be a lot sooner than expected. Realmuto hit by the pitch. That one from Marquez crept in and clipped Miami's catcher. And here comes Tomas Telis.
Good off man on here in the second for the Marlins. Telis, real nice game a couple nights ago. First game of this series. 2 RBI triple. He's kind of the hero of the game. In last night, pinch hit appearance, popped out to left field.
There's strike one to Telis. Marlins been going with a Telis, Tyler Moore platoon at first base. Got good speed at first. Realmuto has 5 stolen bases. Not a big lead, though. Marquez pretty quick to the plate. And he gets strike 2. Hannigan, you can see trying to steal that strike. Slides the glove over ever so quickly after catching it, trying to frame it, as they say.
That's a good spot for maybe JT Realmuto to anticipate a breaking ball. Marquez has featured that fastball primarily. First start here in the 2nd inning. Not really established it yet.
Talise shoots that one into left field. And Miami 1st and 2nd, and nobody out. Now you got Rojas with Aviles behind him. First hit of the day for the Fish.
Talise picked on a 2-strike breaking ball and ripped it into left field. Marlins in business now. Runners on 1st and 2nd.
Marquez been much more consistent in the 2nd half. Last 6 starts, an ERA of under 3. Rojas takes in.
He's got a lively arm, very good fastball. You see it. 2-seamer, 4-seamer, 95 miles an hour. Doesn't really have a 3rd secondary pitch. His go-to pitch is that curveball. As I said, 25% of the time it generates a swing and miss rate of 17%. He has not established it this first time through. See if the Marlins can pick up on that and maybe capitalize. Right now he is just moving his fastball around the zone.
Scouting report says when he wants to dial it up, he can dial it up.
May see a little bit of that today if he doesn't start to harness his curveball.
Rojas a slow tapper. Arenado charging, flips it on to first to get the out. Now we'll see how the Rockies play this. If they go after Aviles or pitch carefully to him, they could obviously put him on as well. You've got Worley on deck. Bud Black is back. That's good to see. Back is Black. How's that?
He is back. You're right.
And
I'm
he's
on it.
And he's wearing black too. The Rockies got their road vests going. So middle infield's back and a chance to score a run here. Realmuto the runner at 3rd.
This is a unique setup. McMahon's actually playing in at first. Everybody else back.
Fastball at 95, and now Aviles has got to be in contact mode.
Marquez able to get ahead with 2 strikes. A variety of different things here. Certainly would love to pick up a strikeout for Marquez and the Rockies. Aviles looking for contact.
Marquez would love a strikeout, and then he'd get to face Worley. Aviles trying to put the ball in play. Middle infield back. Arenado has crept back, as has McMahon at first. And Aviles strikes out. That's a big out for Marquez. And if the Marlins are going to cash in, it's going to have to be Worley.
Sometimes the big at bats, they get you that first time up. Come big moments in a ball game. Marquez, no history versus the Marlins. experience for any of these Marlins hitters. So you got to get into that box ready to hit. Well, he dialed it up right there. 96 down in the zone.
That fastball runs away. Worley's an old school guy, no batting gloves, but he can swing the bat. He has a couple hits in 11 at bats. Marlins have used him as a pinch hitter this year as well. Realmuto and Talise. 2 outs and a 1-1 count.
Really likes to cheat to that front side a little bit. Just to get his arms extended.
Almost hit him.
That is not a cross up. That is a big time miss. And Hannigan kind of yelped right there as the ball was crossing the zone. That was supposed to be way off the outside corner and it ended up almost a foot inside.
Is that whelp look out?
Yeah, that's for everybody. Everybody's on high alert there when you miss that bad.
Not a bad swing there, but the count's 2-2. Worley line drive right field, and it's down for a hit. 1 run scores, and 2 runs score. Thomas Talise, terrific hustle. Gonzalez made the dive, had it in his glove for a moment, but couldn't secure it. And before he got to his feet, Realmuto had scored, and Talise was streaking home.
I'll tell you what, the Vanimal surprised everybody. I was telling you, he loves to step in the bucket and pull the ball to the left side. His best swing of the season. You just saw it. Stayed on it. Just threw the barrel at a fastball away. Watch this. Oh, yeah. Stuns everybody. I think the Rockies, I think Cargo, he might not have been ready. Marlins were. 2 strike, 2 out hitting. Beautiful thing.
Dietrich now, and he takes a fastball for a strike. What a big boost that is. After the strikeout of Aviles, Worley on a 2-strike pitch. Cargo, who's got gold gloves aplenty out there in right field, just couldn't get the glove down far enough to get that thing on the fly.
Not sure we've seen Vance Worley hit a ball to the right side all season long. I mean, I'm just talking a ground ball to second base. I mean, really, a fastball low off the outside corner. Just put the barrel on it, found a little contact, some green grass, and a couple RBIs. Helped the cause.
Tomas Talise tidying up after that head-first slide. 0-2. Well, look, it's an enormous swing, a 2-run swing, and it pushes Marquez a little higher in his pitch count. He's at 35 now. Stanton's on deck. Dietrich pulls one right by Perry Hill.
I think it's very interesting. We talked about it early on, all the way back to the Talise at bat with 2 strikes, hung a curveball. Talise stayed on it, drove it to left field. We really haven't seen the curveball again till right there against Dietrich. Even against Worley, stayed with the fastball the entire at bat. What's Worley end up doing? Lining a single to right.
Dietrich watches. Marquez had hopped off the mound and was exiting stage right, headed towards the Rockies dugout. That's the pitch on Fox Tracks That looks just out and just down. Hannigan has to wrestle that one, and Dietrich goes from 0-2 to 3-2.
Vance Worley will get a little head start. 25 pitches this inning for Marquez. Dietrich would love to keep the inning going for the big man on deck.
Worley on the move. 3-2. Dietrich in the air to left. Parra is under it and makes the catch. But the Vanimal, Vance Worley. That's a 2-run single and a 2-0 lead.
It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
Well, in Miami, the 29-year-old right-hander is doing it all on the mound and at the plate. Let's check in with Craig Minervini. Craig?
Rich, I talked with Vance yesterday about what has been a really crazy season. He had a very good spring training. They didn't have a spot for him in Washington. He was happy to pitch well against them, believe me. Then he went to New Orleans, and he really felt pretty good about things. When he came up here, for whatever reason, he could not move the ball like he was in the minors. And after the series in Chicago, where he gave up in the month of June as a Marlin 13 runs in less than 12 innings, he worked on changing his grip. And he went from a grip that, if you will, if I was holding a baseball and you tried to pull it out of my hand, you couldn't, to where a 6-year-old could probably pull the ball out of his hand right now. And he said that changed it for him. He's able to put the ball where he wants it, and the numbers show in the last 27+ innings, about 7 earned runs now for Vance Worley. And he likes contributing at the plate, too.
Absolutely. Charlie Blackmon fouls it off. Now, look, some leadoff hitters. We had Tim Raines in the booth last night. The Rock. Some leadoff hitters, or even some managers, will say, you know, the leadoff hitter is only the leadoff hitter once a game. How many times has Charlie Blackmon led off an inning here in these last couple of
11
games?
11 times.
Oh, in the series. 11
in the series,
times?
11 times. Led off an inning.
That's amazing.
7 straight. Really is.
Ooh. Worley wanted it. And it was out. Good call by Pat Hoberg. And that hits Charlie Blackmon.
You know,
Giants tomorrow. Boy, Giants have a tough schedule. They had to play that late night rain delayed game last night, and they've got a doubleheader today up in DC with a night game as the second game. So it's Giants and Marlins tomorrow, 6:30 for Marlins Live.
Mayhew, a base hit his first time up, his first hit in the series. 312 on the season. 4 for his last 27, scuffling a little bit. Charlie Blackmon had a couple stolen bases in yesterday's ball game as well. Kind of dialed it back up. Doesn't run all that much, only 11 stolen bases on the season.
Batting champ last year was LeMahieu. And a strike. It's 1-2. LeMahieu last year hit .348 to win that batting title. One-two is fouled back. Can you name all the Rocky batting champs? There have been 8 players who have won 10 batting titles in Rockies history.
8 players, 10 titles?
Yes.
Todd Helton?
Yep.
Larry Walker?
Yep. Those are the easy ones.
And LeMahieu, obviously.
Right.
Last year. Dante Bichette?
No.
Really?
Pitch is in.
Andres Galarraga?
Yes. First one in '93. He had .370 at I believe that was at Mile High Stadium.
Did Vinny win one? Castilla?
No.
Not that.
He looked good on the media guide, though. Blake Street Bombers.
Michael Kadire?
Yeah, that's a good one. 2013. Line drive, base hit right field. Stanton approaches on a hop. And the Rockies answer back, getting first and second with nobody out. Base hit by LeMahieu. He's 2 for 2 in the ball game.
Starting to find that stroke again. Worley had a little bit of trouble here in the third. First 2 guys on. Best hitters in the game in the box. Nolan Arenado.
All right, you're missing 2. Actually, you're missing 3. Think Canadian.
I said Larry Walker already, didn't I?
Oh, come on. You missed Justin Morneau.
Oh, that's right. Totally
All right,
forgot.
2 left.
You're right. I have a gap in my memory, sorry.
Here's Arenado. He may win one day. Drives it to center, hits it a long way. Back goes Yelich. Turning, Yelich, back pedal, reaches, got it. At the wall, both runners tag, and both runners will move up. That was some outfield work for Yelich, kind of gauging when that wall was coming up. And he got right up to it and made the catch.
Fantastic job by Christian Yelich. Textbook, if you will, for his center fielder. You see the pursuit over the left shoulder. Turns his back to the ball. That's the trust. Back to his other shoulder, so all the way back around. Finds the wall. And then makes the catch and gets something going. Coming back towards the infield. Nice job by Christian Yelich.
So a long out by Arenado. And Worley goes after Parra here. Now Miami's infield is back except for Dietrich at third. He's even at the bag. Blackmon at third, LeMahieu at second. And Parra shoots it foul and out of play. All right, you got Kadire, you got LeMahieu, you got Morneau, you got 2 more to go.
Tulo?
Nope.
No Tulo.
All right, think Oklahoma State.
Oh, Matt Holliday.
There you go. And think right fields in this game. Cargo won one in 2010.
Really?
Yeah.
How about that? There you go.
That's trouble in the gap. And on a hop, Yelich has it. 1 run scores, holding third, and on his way to second, not stopping, is Parra. And the Marlins on that relay got caught off guard. The Rockies essentially exchange runners, pick up a run, And here's a look.
Line drive into the gap. Yelich does a nice job of cutting it off. It's just a situation where Parra reads the play the proper way. Your first baseman rolls to cut. Talise, as he did right there. There's nobody at first base. You can wander, you can go as aggressively around first base as you want to and read it. And once he realizes that throw is coming in and it's a little offline, gets himself into second base.
So the Rockies have a run. Now you got Cargo, who's called out on strikes in the second. It's a single with the runner taking second on the throw. That's a roller up the middle. That's going to find center field. 2 runs are going to score. And Carlos Gonzalez gets 2 road RBIs with 1 swing, and the Rockies are on top in this ball game.
Well, Cargo rolls one through the middle of the field. This Rockies team has become ultra aggressive quite quickly. Swinging at first pitch, 3 of the last 4 at bats. See it once it breaks through the infield. That's going to score a couple of runs.
So the hit batter started the inning. That was Blackman, and then you got 3 hits: LeMahieu, Parra, and Gonzalez. And Arenado's fly ball certainly stirred things up as well. Here comes Pat Valaika. Pitch is in. Here's the wild thing about all those batting titles, 10 of them in 24 years for the Rockies. They've had 6 runners up as well in that time. Helton 3 times was the runner up, Walker twice, and Ellis Burks at 344, but did not win the batting title in '96.
I was with Helton in 2000 when he was flirting with 400. He ended up hitting about 372 that year.
Valaika, the cleanup hitter on a College World Series championship team at UCLA. And that one is by Aviles and into center field. Around second is Cargo, and he's going to end up at third. And the Rockies have their 4th hit of the inning.
Well, Christian Yelich has been awfully busy this inning. Certainly should tell you something about the Colorado Rockies' approach, staying through the middle of the field, raving about the cut fastball. How good it was against the Nationals. Second time through the lineup, not nearly as tight as the first time. Last 3 hits, all to center field for the Rockies.
Now you got the rookie McMahon as he's looking for his first big league hit. He's 0 for 2. When you're the quarterback at Mater Dei High School in Southern California, you're pretty good. That is a great football factory for collegiate players. I think that was a Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush territory. That one pulled down the first base line. Matt Trainer, former Marlin, one of our good buddies. Hope that he's doing well. Roller to Lease, out there, relay, and safe. Worley's foot not on the bag. That'll cost a run. The Marlins certainly will look at it. His foot is... he may be out, because by the time he moved it to the bag, it looked like that foot was still coming down. It's a run, so if it's a gamble, it might be a gamble worth taking, and the Marlins are going to challenge it.
Hopefully there's a stronger angle that might make the case for this. Very difficult to see in this. You see him sliding his right foot back towards the bag. It almost looks like he beats it, but I'm not 100% convinced, Rich. We have to have more evidence to overturn it.
Well, I'll tell you what the evidence is. If you watch the right foot as he slides it back, when it stops moving, that should be the sign that he hits the base, right? If it's right up against it.
I agree, but I think that McMahon is closer to the bag at that point. Like, he's just right over the top of it.
Well, we'll search for any angles that we have other than the one we just showed you. Of course, New York has all the camera angles from our telecast and the Rockies telecast. Boy, it's gotta be conclusive 100%, and I don't know. It's worth the gamble, though. I'll tell you that.
Well, New York's going to have all of the best angles to decide this one. It's hard for me to believe he wasn't on the bag right there even to begin with, but just even his behavior, it's almost like he didn't feel it right, and sometimes that's the way it goes with your shoe.
He's
there
out.
Goes.
Oh, wow. That's a great time for a challenge, somewhat of a gamble, and it pays off. The Rockies lose the run. Worley exits the inning, and Colorado now has the lead 3-2. We looked at the replay, but the whole play is worth looking at.
Look at the aggressiveness from Talise. This is impressive stuff. Backhand, strong throw. I know you don't see it as much in slow motion, but that was a strong throw to Rojas, which the timing of this had to be perfect in order to execute, and it saved him a run.
Giancarlo Stanton now struck out on fastballs. His first at bat. Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna also due up against German Marquez. Misses down low. It's 2-0. Went after a slider. Stanton has homered in 3 straight games. His all-time high was 4 straight back in 2011. Fouls that one back into the seats.
See the adjustment. That's a pretty good call right there. Stanton looked fastball, got it. 97 miles an hour, and he was right on it. First at bat, saw nothing but fastballs and was a bit blown away by Marquez.
That curveball, and the count full now 3-2. So Stanton seems to have seen everything in these 2 at bats. Fastball, fly ball, right field deep. Back goes Gonzalez, and it's gone. Number 42, opposite field. Outside pitch, drives it out. Gary Sheffield, you got company.
Talk about making an adjustment. My goodness gracious. Over the last few weeks, you've heard Stanton talk about pitch-to-pitch improvement. I think that might be the best example of it. First at bat, blown away by nothing but fastballs. Laid off a couple of tough breaking pitches. Timed the 97. Looked away, got it away, drove it away. Number 42 in the books.
Driven in, 42 on the season. He's homered in 4 straight games.
Absolutely amazing. What an approach. Executing a game plan. Rich, for me, I'm enjoying this as much as anybody just because you get a glimpse of his mind and how it works and playing the game of baseball. This isn't just about the biggest, strongest guy in the game hitting long, long home runs. This is about approach. This is about a game plan. To think he didn't even touch a fastball in his first at bat.
Yelich pulls one to the right side. McMahon to the bag. And so now you can add up all the numbers, right? There's number 42. It's 4 straight games with a homer. 9 homers last 10 games. 21 home runs his last 33. Of course, this is game number 33, and he's not done yet.
That home run right there, very similar to the home run he hit in San Francisco. You don't see it very often here at Marlins Park. A right-handed hitter going to right field the way that he just did.
Marcell Ozuna, 3-3 ball game. Ozuna takes a curveball for a strike. Now, I guess having watched that at bat, whether it's the San Francisco Giants or the Phillies or the Mets, the upcoming opponents for the Marlins are going to be asking themselves, all right, where do you pitch him?
The only time I have seen any kind of consistent success from the pitching, number one, it has to do with the arsenal and who's out there on the mound. First of all, high velocity above his hands. There was a little phase, a little period before this great run he's been on where he's been almost homering like, you know, I don't know, every other at bat. He at times can chase up there. Now, it was in DC where he got a 96-mile-an-hour fastball in his hands and he turned it around and he hit it out to left. Impressive stuff. But there is, I guess I would say it as, he's not as consistent up there as he is everywhere else in the zone right now. I mean, if you miss on the inner third, you're done. If you leave it up and it's elevated and it's a strike over the inner third, he's going to make you pay the price. It's going to be a rocket off the bat, or it might be a home run. I mean, you see anything out over the middle of the plate, he's on right now. But if you can get him above the hands, and here's the thing, it can't be lazy. I'm not talking 86 to 88. I'm talking, it's got to be 95 plus. Maybe, just maybe, you might get him.
Let's watch it on Fox Tracks and let's look for location.
.98 miles an hour.
Outer edge.
Yeah, just above the knees.
Ozuna rolls it out to short. Baleka fires to first in time. Florida Lottery in-game jackpot, fewest games to 250. Giancarlo Stanton 941. He's in the company of Ryan Howard, Ralph Kiner, Harmon Killebrew, Albert Pujols, and Juan Gonzalez. His 8th season. He's arrived at 250. Now, if you go by just at bats, since 1974, he's the second fastest in terms of at bats. Ryan Howard did it in 3,166 at bats. Stanton 3,405. Realmuto puts it up into the seats.
Interestingly enough, Ryan Howard just signed a minor league deal with the Colorado Rockies, reporting to AAA Albuquerque.
That ties that story up very nicely.
You're welcome. I didn't, I crack staff.
Realmuto got hit his first time up, and he backs away from that curveball. 2 balls, 2 strikes. German Marquez, 60 pitches in.
It's been an amazing run from Stanton, I'll tell you.
Well, we talked about last night in the home run. You hit it 464, whatever it was, up into the bar. That's impressive. But the 2 balls he hit to the right side for hits,
right,
for a guy that's vaporizing, obliterating, whatever word you want. Ow. And hopefully it was the knob of the bat, and it was. That had a really unique sound, didn't it?
I think it hit it square. It didn't usually, it just kind of nicks off the edge. Yeah, look at that. Almost like it hit it flush. There's little exit velocity there. That's how we talk now.
But the 2 balls Stanton hit last night, the double to right center and the single to right center, it continues to fulfill what we've seen and identified as more hitter than slugger.
I think the move to the 2 spot in the lineup has, in some way, I don't want to use the word forced, but I don't know a better word to use, forced him to concentrate a little bit more.
Realmuto swings and misses and strikes out. Well, the big man has left the yard for the 250th time in his career, and he ties Gary Sheffield with this shot at 42.
Unfortunately so for the Rockies and manager Bud Black.
Boy, it's tough. I mean, you know, I've seen him now for a number of years, and when he's hot, he's as hot as anybody. I mean, as far as base hits, power, you know, what a combination.
Black was talking about pitching to him. He talked to about half of his press conference from all Rocky reporters about Stanton today, and he said, look, we've got to go, as Todd was mentioning, either high and in, but the problem is he's seeing it so well now that he's taking those pitches that are in and off the plate. And if you're on the corner, he said, you better be perfect. He'll chase, but he's not chasing now. And he's emphasized right now he is seeing the ball well, and with that confidence, he's not missing anything.
Yeah, it's extraordinary, and he's also talked so much about what he's learned as a player, what he's probably helped himself out with best this year, and he said it's more of learning how to be a ball player rather than just an athlete that comes out and hits the ball 450 feet. And on Marlins Live, he was also talking about his swing and how it doesn't need to be, right now, it doesn't need to be a full-out swing. It's just a nice, easy stroke.
Well, by closing off your stance the way that he has.
To right, Stanton is there.
It's a fly ball. By closing off your stance the way Stanton has done, and we've showed this over the last few weeks, you actually lengthen your swing a little bit. But the other adjustment that went along with that, by lengthening your swing because you're turning your front shoulder away from the pitcher more towards second base, so your swing naturally gets a little bit longer, he moved off the plate. That was to me, that was the key adjustment that really allowed him to unlock it, was by getting off the plate and getting comfortable in a different spot. He used to stand closer when he was straight up.
And really, when you watch the replay of his swings, it doesn't look like a guy trying to hit a home run, except for one swing in recent memory, and that was the Jason Grilli home run in Texas, where Stanton was boiling at Grilli for his display at the end of the ball game in the one game the Rangers won. Grilli faced him the next night as a roller up the line. Real Muto digs it, fires it. Talise has it, but his foot off the bag, and I think the runner Marquez was past it already. It's going to be a base hit for the pitcher, his 7th hit this year.
Well, this might have been a play of the year from JT Real Muto if he was able to pull it off. Unbelievable. You don't realize how far down the line. Look at that. It's about 20 feet short of third base, and he gets him if Talise can hold the bag. That's a catcher coming out almost 70 feet down the line. I know a pitcher running, but a pretty good athlete. Heck of a play from JT.
So an infield hit. Let's see, Talise's foot. Yeah, it's off. Charlie Blackmon is up, not leading off an inning. That's notable, with LeMahieu on deck, and Worley misses in. I mean, remember that swing? It looked like Stanton was up there with bad intentions, and if he got a fastball from Grilli, he was going to put every fiber in his body into it. It was up under his chin, across the plate, and he just murdered the ball.
Yes,
I mean, and it obviously. What made news there was that Stanton's reaction mimicked Grilli's from the night previous, when he kind of did his Hulk imitation and pumped his fists.
Only time we've seen any display of emotion or bat flip or anything like that from Giancarlo. 42 home runs on the season. Only one time has he really caught the attention of everybody with something after the home run, other than us just gawking at how far the ball is getting ready to go.
But to me, that was the hardest swing of his home runs. Now, I haven't gone back and looked at every one of them, but that's the one to me that hops out. Marquez the runner at first. Blackmon, a broken bat line drive out and was hit by a pitch, and Worley misses away, and it's 2-2.
It's fair to say it's almost like he's going for hits and getting home runs, if that makes sense. That's been the approach. And I'll go back to early on in the season. Think back to what his approach was and what it is right now. Day and night. I mean, it was good early on, but it was more pure slugger, more number 4 hitter. strike out a few times. He would go through those stretches of hot and cold. In fact, that's what most would tell me. You know, remember, I've laid my eyes on Stanton every day for the first time in my life. Everybody was telling me, yeah, he goes through these hot and cold stretches. He's been nothing but consistent for the last 6 weeks.
2-2. Worley misses up. And 3-2 pitch coming to the Rockies all-star center fielder Charlie Blackmon, home run derby participant. Count stays at 3-2.
Cut fastball seems to have a little bit more roll to it from Worley right now. First time through the lineup, it was sharp, had good action. He's gone to go to the two-seam fastball too often. He died of cutters.
Blackmon again pumps it into the seats. Craig earlier was talking about Worley and the change in his grip, getting the ball further out into his fingers, not as tight. And he talked about the ability to manipulate and move the baseball. Remember, he was pretty effective last year in the Orioles bullpen. 3-2 coming. And he misses, and Blackmon is on base again. His on-base percentage is approaching .400. Fish Family season ticket holders, renewal season coming up. 25th anniversary is next year. Marlins.com/renewals, the place to go. Billy's birthday today. A lot of kids here. A lot of mascots here. Mascots from other major league teams. The Rockies Dinger is in the house. So is DJ LeMahieu. 2 hits for LeMahieu. His bat perking up in the 3rd game of the series.
Coming back over to Blackmon. He's at first base. 5 hits, 3 walks, a hit by pitch this series on 9 of 13 times. The Marlins unable to really keep Blackmon off the bases, but they have been able to keep him fairly well in check. So Vance can navigate this 4th inning.
Baseball is a sport where you can't win them all, it's often heard, and that's not just on the field, it's also in the front office. This is one of the trades that didn't quite go the Cubs' way early in that regime's time. DJ LeMahieu was a Cub. Ian Stewart was the principal coming back from the Rockies to the Cubs, and of course LeMahieu, a young player out of LSU, has really blossomed as a Rocky. Batting champ last year, Gold Glove 3 years ago, All-Star team in 15, and then again this year. Quite an at bat here, fouling off a lot of pitches. And Worley looking for a ground ball. Count still 1-2.
Mayhew, a double play candidate. Really can get the ball down. Be able to pick up that key ground ball.
He's been frustrated in this ball game. Not nearly the command he had in his last 2 starts against the Nationals. 21 pitches this inning. It's not easy in the big leagues to start back-to-back starts against the same team, but it didn't bother Worley. 2 starts against the Nationals, 13 innings, and just 1 run. Jam shot. It is humid here in the ballpark. Yeah, there is a roof, and yes, there's air conditioning, but it's essentially an open air stadium. That means when the Marlins aren't playing, the roof is open to allow sunlight on the field to let the grass grow. So it gets humid here, and even with a cooler temperature than outside, you see the water that has built up on his glasses. There's the ground ball. Rojas bobbles. There's the flip. Aviles with the turn in time. And that gets Worley out of the inning. 3-3 Rockies and Fish. Jeep by Hankook. Chase down your passion, never halfway. And by your South Florida Chevy dealers. Well, a competitive game here, a little back and forth going. Marlins took a 2-0 lead. Rockies ripped off 3 runs. Actually had 4 runs, but the Marlins challenged to play at first and got that call overturned. That took a run off the board. And then Giancarlo Stanton, not to left, not to center, not 460 feet, but 359 feet down the right field line for number 42 and number 250 in his career. And here is Talise with Rojas and Aviles behind him.
Talise, a base hit his last time up. Got a 2-strike breaking ball and drove it through the left side. Piece of hitting.
Marquez misses up. German Marquez is just 22, and he was originally property of the Tampa Bay Rays. They traded him before last season to the Rockies in the Corey Dickerson trade. And that's worked out for both teams. Dickerson, an all-star for the Rays, and Jake McGee, who came with the Marquez, has helped build a very nice pitching staff for Colorado. Much improved pitching staff. That one is flipped out into left center field. That falls for a hit. Tomas Talise. He's 2 for 2 in the ball game. That brings up Miguel Rojas. Giants are here tomorrow. South Florida Honda dealers, get you ready. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine host it. Weary is right. Giants in that rain delay game late into the night, and I think early morning in DC last night. They're playing a doubleheader because Friday night's game was rained out, and it's a split doubleheader in that it's 2 admissions. So an afternoon game which has started, they'll clear the ballpark and then play tonight and get a taste of what the Marlins went through on the Thursday night game in D.C. and then a Friday night game here. While the Marlins were playing on that Thursday, the Giants had a full off day in D.C. and the Rockies, who arrived here on Wednesday night, all spent a very pleasant day in South Florida. Fastball zips outside to Miguel Rojas. There's a liner into right center field. That's a hit. Talise scampers around second. On his way to third, and Rojas with a solid single. And the Fish are set up at the corners with nobody out.
Yeah, great to see good offensive approaches from the bottom of the lineup. Talise goes the other way. Rojas goes the other way so many times. Elevated fastball, barrel through. Eyes don't lie. Right down the barrel into right center field. He's going to push Talise all the way around to third base and set up a big inning. A potential big inning for the Marlins.
Well, this at bat is about redemption for Mike Aviles. Second and third and one out, and Marquez struck him out, and he was bailed out by Vance Worley with a two-strike hit to right field that knocked in both those runs.
Yeah, I expect Aviles to be ready this time for the fastball. That's what Marquez used primarily against him that first at bat. See if he's ready to pounce.
Worley is on deck. Aviles getting the start at second base. Count 1-0. Rockies infield playing for two. So a ground ball might mean 2 outs, but it would produce a run. That's a liner right down the left field line. And a fair ball. And in the corner. Scoring is Talise. Here comes Rojas. He's going to score. That is redemption for Mike Aviles.
Burned by the fastball the first time up with runners in scoring position. Not this time. Lays off the fastball away, looks fastball in, gets fastball in, pulls those hands and rips one down the third base line. My, oh my, great swing, great adjustment. You talk about redemption, Rich. Yeah, you get it. But you got to execute, and he does. Retake the lead. 5-3. Bottom 4. It's an impressive offensive approach against Marquez. Came in as the hottest Rockies pitcher.
Bud Black is out on the mound right now. Now, of course, Bud Black, an accomplished major league pitcher and a very good pitching coach, was a world champion pitching coach, remember, with Mike Scioscia's Angels. So when he really wants to deliver a message, he'll go out there and deliver it. Toyota brings you an inside look, brought to you by the all-new RAV4. What do we got for our inside look? Starts by rookie pitchers. Rockies not only have the most starts, but look at the record in those games. 46-27. Bunt is on. And a good one there. Arenado's going to have to go to first, and Vance Worley advances Aviles to third base. Here comes Dietrich now with 1 out and a runner at third base.
Nice day for Worley at the plate. Textbook bunt. How about it? And Arenado fielding the bunt's exactly what you want. Great offensive approach so far today. Marlins.
Dietrich now in the infield is in. Walked in the first and a fly ball to left in the second. It's a very good defensive outfield. Parra and Gonzalez on the corners. Blackman at center field. Count of 1 ball and 1 strike.
We've talked quite a bit about offense getting rolling again. Stanton hitting all these home runs. How about this? The 8 and 9 hitters for the Marlins today have 4 RBIs. Worley and Aviles.
Dietrich didn't like it. Had Hobart called it a strike. It came a long way. The question is, did it come far enough? And it did not. That's a ball, but it's a called strike.
Yeah, it's always about the anticipation, especially with the 12-6 breaking ball. Where does it cross the plate, not where does it land?
And of course, the distinction is front of the plate.
Right.
And he's called out. Dietrich doesn't like that either. That is a big sequence. 2 balls that were out, 2 balls that are called strikes. And we'll see if the Rockies pitch to Stanton here. So on Fox Tracks, that's out. The breaking ball was up. And let's see if Stanton gets anything to hit. Aviles at third. And that catches the corner. Now Stanton with the asking if it was up or out. And that's out as well. The last 3 called strikes have all been out of that box. Here's the 0-1. That pitch is up. And it's a ball and a strike. It's in the same vicinity. But by getting that call, the Rockies, this is kind of reverse psychology. By getting that call on the first pitch to Stanton, the Rockies all of a sudden may change their tacks.
You start to think you can get them out, right? You can get them out, right? We can expand the zone. Let's try not to make a mistake. I love it, right?
That was outer edge. And Stanton lost it to right.
And that might just be it, Rich. We've talked a lot about how much Stanton has really grown over the last couple of months. Learning how to set up pitchers is a really advanced step for a lot of hitters. Usually you're talking number 3 hitters, some of the game's greatest. Stanton, he could be close to that.
Stanton with a bouncer out towards short. Big hop for Valaika, who throws him out at first base. Well, the Marlins pick up 2 and lead this ball game 5-3.
Welcome back here to Marlins baseball. A great ball game and two great Americans with me from World War II as baseball recognizes the spirit of 45. They do it often this time of year. And here's a distinguished gentleman, George Fisher, United States Army veteran, World War II, 92 years young, and he's going for 120, I think. You look great. How you feeling?
I feel all right. I just look around and I say to myself, during the Battle of the Bells, which only lasted 6 weeks, it would snow for 14 consecutive days. When I got out of the Army, thank God I never want to see snow again, and that's why I'm down in Florida.
A former New Yorker, was in the Battle of the Bulge, wounded, Purple Heart, greatest generation.
Correct.
Are you proud to see how revered the World War II vets are?
Absolutely, but I'm just sad to say that we're a shrinking group, and 10 years from now, you'll never see a World War II veteran alive. It's unfortunate, but that's the way it is. But we love the veterans. We love everybody from Korea, Vietnam. A veteran is a veteran. If he fought with the enemy, we love him. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, that's awesome stuff. Julian Syphax, Navy, World War II. Where were you? Were in Okinawa?
Okinawa, yeah, invasion.
The World War II veterans, you see a few around here in South Florida. How neat of a group. This is a very special group called the Greatest Generation.
Well, that's what they call us. But we honestly don't understand about the Greatest Generation. Most of us, I'd say all of us, knew that we had a job to do.
You served this country so well, and let me tell you this too.
Thank you.
This guy is a monster Marlins fan, right?
I am. I love them. I love them to death.
You watch all the games, you say?
I watch all the games. And I hope that they stay together.
Well, we all do too. It's great to see you guys. Spirit of 45, and they have World War II memorabilia here. You like the Marlins too, correct?
I love the Marlins. If I had $1.2 billion, I'd buy them. I haven't got that much money in my checking account. Otherwise, I'd write a check today.
Well, you might need 1.3 because it's already been sold for 1.2. Great service from all of us at Fox Sports Florida, both of you guys, all right? Thank you very much. I told you my dad served proudly in the Marines, lived to 91, and you are the greatest generation. Thank you, George.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here. It's all good. Thank you.
All right, guys, let's go back to you.
All right, thank you, Craig. Nolan Arenado took a pitch off of his left hand. He started his swing and his hands came through, and it looks like Arenado is coming out of the ball game.
Well, that's not only devastating news for today's game. Manager Bud Black, Colorado Rockies, playoff hopes in a lot of ways are resting on his shoulders. This is a different Rockies team without an Arenado in the middle of the lineup.
Yeah, and you hope that he's fine, that it's a bruise. I mean, all of us watched in horror the Bryce Harper video last night, and everybody expected just awful news when he was examined. It turned out to be a hyperextension and a bone bruise. He's on the disabled list, but Harper, they feel, should be back. Arenado taken out of the game. Story's running. Parr is hitting, and he drives it in the gap, left center field. It's deep, and it's up over the wall. And the Rockies right back up off the canvas, down 2, now have second and third and nobody out. So a double by Parra.
Both starters today came in hot pitchers for both teams. Worley has struggled with his command, as has Marquez. After hitting Arenado, this is the first pitch. Parra, first pitch fastball aggressive in left center field. One hop over the wall. Rockies now in business as well.
Don Mattingly's coming out, and this could be the end of the line for Vance Worley. As sharp as Worley has been, and he certainly was that in the 2 starts against the Nationals, today's been more of a struggle. And Javi Guerra is coming out of Miami's bullpen in a big spot in a 5-3 Marlins lead a Florida lottery call to the pen. Call to the bullpen. You can get a $6 value for $5 when you ask for the grouper from the Florida Lottery. With so many life-changing prizes, get your group ready. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Claim it. Must be 18 or older. Play responsibly. Well, it's a big spot for Javi Guerra, called up from New Orleans. The former Dodger closer, working his way back to the big leagues. And the Marlins need some outs here to hang on to a 5-3 lead.
Well, they certainly do. Guerra in a pivotal spot today's ball game. It's a good opportunity for him as well. You see the stat line from his last appearance. That's against the Nats. 3 walks is what catches your attention. Man has got to be there. Certainly a big spot. Tying run at second base.
Vance Worley ends up going 4 innings, 8 hits, walked 2, struck out 1, 3 runs, but he's responsible for Story at third base, who's pinch running for Arenado, and Parra at second base. Now Carlos Gonzalez, 2-run single his last time up. Takes a fastball in. Rockies have out-hit the Marlins. That hit his bat twice. It's a foul ball. Giants here tomorrow night. That's a 3-game series, a Monday night, Tuesday night, and remember, Wednesday is an afternoon game. Marlins hit the road, go to New York and Philadelphia. Very nice by the crack staff. Buster Posey coming here. Posey's having a terrific year. The rest of the Giants, not so much. San Francisco, very un-Giant-like.
Well, they're getting left in the wake of 3 teams in the National League West. This Colorado Rockies team is one of them. Diamondbacks, Dodgers.
Gonzalez fouls that one back.
Well, somebody has to be doing the losing.
Well, the Giants have done their share. They're 46-71. And with the Dodgers' great ride, San Francisco is 36.5 games back.
You said 36?
36.5 games back. 2-2. And he got him on a strikeout. A rising fastball in on his hands. Nice job by Real Muto to squeeze the foul tip. And there's one out.
Yeah, great game plan. The fastball's down in the zone, but elevates Cargo. A lot of moving parts. Leg kick timing is big in his swing. Get in on those hands, and his timing is off. Get outs. It's 2 strikeouts on the day for Cargo.
Now Valleca, who has looked great swinging the bat last night, had that infield hit when the Rockies were trying to come back in the 9th inning. He's got 2 hits to start his day here. Guerra's curveball is high. It's 1-0.
Very well with runners in scoring position this season. Like a 355.
Told you earlier that his older brother, Chris Valleca, was a Marlin, as well as a Red and a Cub. So the Valleca family has plenty of baseball to it, and some big league experience now for 2 of the boys. Valleca, a Marlin for 22 games in 2013. That's Chris Valleca. Guerra with a fastball is fouled back. It's 2-2. Pat Valleca up, 2nd and 3rd. Javi Guerra out of Miami's bullpen. Jam shot, pop up, shallow right. Avilas out, makes the catch, spins and throws. Everybody holds. And Javi Guerra has come in and made some really nice pitches to Carlos Gonzalez and Pat Valleca.
Well, certainly, Valleca has shown the desire to stay inside the baseball. What's Guerra do? A little 2-seam action in on those hands. Not able to stay inside. Gets beat. Shallow pop up to the right side. Story is even late to the tag.
And so now Guerra's got 2 outs. Runner still 2nd and 3rd. And here's McMahon still looking for his first major league hit. He's bounced to 3rd and he's bounced into a double play. 22-year-old mom and girlfriend got here last night, hoping for the first hit. Javi Guerra hoping not so much. Release point from Guerra is one you don't see a lot of these days, and that's almost straight over the top.
Definitely a little different look from Vance Worley. It's crossfires a little bit. Doesn't have quite the velocity that Guerra has consistently. But you're right. Almost that little, we call it the iron mic, almost right over the top, the old pitching machine.
Well, Josh Colmenter is kind of the guy with that delivery over the last few years, but he's much taller. Chris Young, big starting pitcher. 2-1. And Guerra misses outside. Ryan Hannigan is the on-deck hitter. Marlins are thin right now in the bullpen. They've been guys that have worked a lot in the last few innings. You got a short start here. Last night Don Mattingly had to really finesse his bullpen and did successfully. And the same is true here. In fact, more so since he's into the pen in the 5th inning. Guerra gets the 2nd strike. There's a chance Dustin McGowan is not available. In all likelihood, Brad Ziegler is not available. Drew Steckenrider, who's been pitching in high leverage spots, he might not be available either. Just a heavy workload. All is kind of adding up on this Marlins staff here on a Sunday. 3-2. And he lost him. Fastball missed way up. Ryan McMahon walks. And now Guerra goes after Ryan Hanigan.
For Guerra, that's the kind of miss that can be frustrating at times. Now 4 walks and 2 appearances. Fought his way back into the at-bat. That elevated fastball, not even a borderline pitch.
So here's Hanigan with the bags loaded. Intentional walk, fly ball out. 4 innings of Van Swirly. Guerra's got 2 outs here. And he's kept runners at second and third, although they're joined now by McMahon at first. Spins one in there to get a strike, and it's 0-1. Two down. 0-2. This game already 2 hours in. Top 5. And an 0-2. On the ground, Aviles, and Javi Guerra gets out of it. Second and third and nobody out. No problem. That is a huge shot in the arm for the Marlins and their bullpen. His last time out, he really got knocked around, and you pointed out control was an issue in DC, but he jumped right into the fire here. Second and third and nobody out. Got 2 outs, walked a hitter, and then gets out of it. And Miami hangs on to a 5-3 lead into the bottom of the 5th. Trevor Story, who came in to pinch run for Arenado, is going to play shortstop. Pat Valaika goes from short to third. And Yelich takes up. And as soon as we get any report on Arenado, who was hit in the left hand, the meat part of the hand, the outside of the hand, we will pass that along. Yelich shoots one out. Story tested right away and throws him out. Sunday Fun Day on the 27th. Padres are here, and the first 7,000 fans will get a Billy the Marlin hula figurine. These are shots from Billy's birthday today. Salt and pepper with the cake. Have you ever had salt and pepper come to your birthday?
No.
All right. South Florida Ford will bring you that Billy the Marlin hula day. Of course, it's Sunday. Did you see that?
Another double hit.
He's lucky he didn't get 2 foul balls and 2 strikes on him. Watch this.
There's the big breaking ball. 1, 2. There it is.
Marlins.com for tickets on that Sunday game against the Padres with the Hula Billy. It's impressive that Billy would A, send an invitation to Salt and Pepper, and then B, that they would respond.
Look at the crowd he hangs out with.
And deliver the cake.
Very colorful people.
Right. I don't see any of the other mascots, the ones that are were all lined up and are here.
Oh,
I don't see them hanging out with Salt and Pepper. The curveball's up and in. Ozuna with a big 3-1 rip, takes his little walk, taps the shoes, and see if he dials it in for 3-2. German Marquez working here in the 5th inning. Ozuna, my goodness, he has the fastest hands and the fastest bat head speed on the Marlins. That's almost an impossible pitch to pull like that.
Well, you know why, right? You know why all this happened? Because it's his 3rd at bat.
No, that's right. That's your 3rd at bat theory.
It is.
But look at the hands. That's
the best part. And listen, it almost feels like a setup, just because of how the at bats sometimes go. But you're right. That little walk that he takes kind of resets his mind and kind of gets back into it.
all right. We're going to take a little walk here as well. Florida Lottery called to the bullpen. Pitching change for the Rockies. And it's worked quite well this year.
Yeah, it really has. It's just a little timeout. You know, he just kind of gets his attention, kind of gets his refocus. That's what it is. A lot of times we'll see at the front end of at bats, you know, an aggressiveness.
This is the short walk, and he usually pops the shoes twice.
And here's the amazing thing, right? Almost the same spot. Those are both 94-mile-an-hour fastballs. One he swings all the way through on a 3-1 pitch. He's too aggressive. Top hand comes off. The second one tightens up and pulls the hands through on a tougher pitch.
Ozuna's at first. Real Muto's up. JT hit by a pitch and struck out. Oh for 8 is Real Muto on the homestand. Adam Ottavino. Really fits the profile for the Rockies staff, and that is really big and throws really hard. He finished the ball game on Friday night. Gets a strike. He had Tommy John surgery in May of 2015. He's an older guy at 31. Been a Rocky since 2012. JT pops it up on the infield. 3 Rockies converge, and it's Story who makes the catch. So Ottavino has the second out. Geico. Let's go back to 2003. Marlins beat the Dodgers. Mike Mordecai. A walk-off homer in the 11th, which elicited the screams from the broadcast booth from Len Casper and Tommy Hutton of Morty.
It was about this time of year where we really started to, our 03 team started to sense that it was going to be our year. Gotten our acts together, turned the losing ways into winning ways, and the contributions, as with any team, you start to get them from a lot of different spots.
Mordecai had a huge hit in the NLCS.
Sure did.
Up at Wrigley Field.
Maybe the biggest hit in the series.
Felice's got 2 hits. Nice play there by McMahon, who gets up and gets to the bag and gets the outs. Marlins are into the Rockies' pen. Rockies into the Marlins' pen. This ball game's into the 6th now. 5-3 Fish. We arrive in the 6th, and now this word.
Next Corona Light Marlins watch party is Friday, August 18th. The Keg south of Kendall. See you Marlins fans. You're going to see the Marlins take on the Mets at 7 p.m. Plus enjoy music with DJ Vertigo. Meet Billy the Marlin. That's right. Win giveaways and prizes and enjoy food and drink specials. For more information, go to marlins.com/appearances.
Maybe they should invite Salt and Peppa as well.
Might be available.
And they came for Billy's birthday.
Probably tight.
Javi Guerra facing Alexi Amarista. Amarista pinch hitting here in the 9 spot, so Marquez is done for the day. Then you got Blackman and LeMahieu, and then Story at the top of the order, 1, 2, 3. Javi Guerra was enormous in the 5th. Miami up 2, but Vance Worley hit Arenado, who left the game. Hit him in the hand. Parr then doubled, and that was enough for Don Mattingly. He went to go get Guerra. Strike 3 called. Guerra strikes out Amarista. And Guerra got out of that 5th, striking out Gonzalez, popping out Valleca, and getting Ryan Hannigan to bounce out to end the inning. He opens the 6th with a strikeout of the little ninja.
Now no wasting time. Try to fool him, went right at him. Look at this. Pitch at the bottom of the zone. Certainly caught enough of the plate at 93 miles an hour. Great pitch, good start.
Charlie Blackmon has been on base constantly in this 3-game series. He's done it in a variety of ways. Blackmon last night was 4 for 5, 4 singles. And on Friday night, not so much with the hits. He had a double, but he walked twice. So he's been on base 9 times.
He's doing what a leadoff hitter does. Idea, much like our conversation before we opened up this series about Stanton and making the home runs matter and make them count, turn them into W's. That's how you like to see it. They have not. Blackmon has been on base all series long. Rockies 11 guys left on base today.
High fastball. Blackmon chases. It's 1 and 2.
Correct that. 8 left on base today. 11 left on base last night.
In the air and out of play. As we've noted, the Giants are playing a doubleheader against the Nationals. Bryce Harper has been placed on the disabled list, but no ligament damage, hyperextension, and a bone bruise, which is certainly the best of news, having watched that play and waited for the MRI this morning. The Giants lead the Nationals 3-0, and that is in the bottom of the 7th inning in D.C. Those two play tonight as well, making up for the rain out on Friday. Blackmon swings and misses, and Guerra has just been spectacular here.
The key for Guerra is missing, I should say missing, getting to those edges. You watch this, it's an 87-mile-an-hour slider. Doesn't have a lot of break on it, but it's perfectly placed. Any higher, probably doesn't get the swing and miss. Right there at the top of the strike zone.
Now LeMahieu, a couple hits, 2 out, and nobody on. In that Giants series, obviously the Giants rotation is in flux with the doubleheader and 2 guys going tonight, having not had a start on Friday. Ty Block the lefty, and Adam Conley are slated for Monday, and it's Dan Straley and Madison Bumgarner on Tuesday. Jose Urena on Wednesday afternoon. The Giants have not announced their Wednesday afternoon starter. 2-0 to LeMahieu. In the air, Yelich is under it. Javi Guerra getting big outs in the 5th and a 1-2-3 6th. 5-3 Marlins. Listen, wait for it. Love the water sounds there.
Oh, yeah. We live in paradise. That's the sound of it.
All the mascots, all the area mascots. I believe that's the current Miami soccer mascot. All right, here are the Rockies into their bullpen. Antonio Senzatella. Senzatella becomes pitcher number 3 for Bud Black. Herman Marquez, Adam Ottavino. Senzatella takes over for Ottavino. Here's Rojas. Important hit for Rojas in the 4th. He followed up a Talise single by knocking one into right center. And they both came home on Mike Avila's 2-run double. The Marlins have 5 runs in this ballgame. 4 of the runs have been knocked in by the number 8 and the number 9 spots in the order. Vance Worley, a 2-run single to right. And of course, Avilas with that 2-run double down the left field line. And in case you missed it, Giancarlo Stanton homered again. It's a franchise record tying 42nd. It ties Gary Sheffield. And it was an opposite field shot, a shot down the right field line. That's how Miami has their 5 runs. Rojas, big swing.
Ellington up in the Marlins bullpen. Senzatella has done most of his work in the Rockies rotation this year. Fastball, slider, occasional changeup. Good arm.
The Mets are in Philadelphia and beating the Phillies by a score of 4-1. Marlins ahead of the Mets in the standings, though everybody is looking up, way up at the Nationals. Marlins are 14.5 back at 5 under. The Mets 17 back. Atlanta 18 back. That one just missed.
Good take by Rojas on a tough slider down. Talk about that arsenal. Cincinnati typically throws a lot more fastballs. Has come out throwing a few more sliders to Rojas at the bottom of this lineup, maybe because of the production. It's been down at the bottom.
Just like Marquez, he's a 22-year-old Venezuelan. Rojas rolls it. Story picks it and throws him out at first. That brings up Aviles. Milwaukee trying to keep pace with the Cardinals, who've been so hot. St. Louis has won 8 straight. Remember, Milwaukee was the team that sat on top in the division for so long until the Cubs overtook them. Brewers are 2 back of both the Cardinals and the Cubs, who have the identical record of, or actually not the identical record, but are tied for first place. Brewers 2 back, lead the Reds 3-2. Top 4. Cardinals losing at home to the Braves 2-0. Bottom 4. Cubs in Arizona tonight, where they lost last night. Aviles fouls it back.
Aviles drove in the go-ahead runs with a big double down the third base line his last time up for a 370 hitter versus the Colorado Rockies. So good numbers against them as a whole.
LeMahieu gathers and gets the out. Ichiro was on deck. He was not announced. It's going to be Tyler Moore. Bottom 6 here.
Tyler's done a nice job as the right-handed option most of the time for manager Don Mattingly. 9 pinch hits on the season, 36 at bats, 3 doubles, a homer, 7 RBIs.
Slow breaking ball from Sensatella for a strike. Marlins do have D. Gordon as a pinch hitting option late in this ball game. Gordon did not start at second. Mike Aviles started. Of course, Aviles has the 2-run double. Pitches down low. Obviously some concern for sure with the left hand of Nolan Arenado. We haven't received word yet from the Rockies clubhouse. But the great news for the Rockies is tomorrow. Chad Bettis is back on the mound. He's going to start against the Braves at Coors Field. He's been fighting testicular cancer. A lot of people have been rooting for him and he starts tomorrow. He's back in the big leagues, and that is great news.
Yeah, great story.
Marlins AAA team saw him in his last minor league appearance. Moore swings and misses, and Sensatella goes 1-2-3 through the fish in the 6th. 7th inning, Don Mattingly still trying to piece it together with his bullpen. Keeps spinning around like, what was that
kids.
Crazy movie from the 70s? All right, we'll get the answer after this. Let's check in with Craig. Craig?
All right, impressive there from the Mascots. We had a great shot last night after Brian Ellington came out. Remember, he gave up a run, but he did keep the lead for the Marlins. They wound up winning the ball game. Came into the 8th inning in a high leverage spot, and the shot we had was of Giancarlo Stanton for some time, actually, next to him, probably for 2-3 minutes, just talking to him. And I asked Ellington about it today, and he said, yeah, it was basically a pep talk to trust yourself, and hey, if you don't get the result on this pitch or this batter, to go get after the next one. And Ellington was saying, you know, even Giancarlo has talked about his own struggles a year ago, and look where he is this year. I asked him about getting out and at least handing the lead over. He said, yeah, it's a little bit bittersweet. He did give up a run, but it was a 4-2 game, 4-3 game after he left. First time he gave up a run in 5 outings, and he said it's bittersweet because I've had success up here and I've got the confidence. I've just got to show it and go out there and do what I can. As long as I'm healthy, he said, one thing you can guarantee, I'm going to keep on trying.
All right, thank you, Craig. And he gets a chance to get back out there right now in a 2-run ball game. That foul tip knocks the mask right off of Real Muto. Trevor Story getting his first at bat. Then you got Gerardo Parra, Carlos Gonzalez. This is not a soft landing for Ellington by any means, and last night wasn't either. He was thrown into the fire in the 8th. He did give up a run, but he held the lead.
A lot of times you can develop that confidence just by feeling the confidence of your manager. Sure, your teammates, you feel the support, a little boost of confidence from Stanton. It's got to come from your manager as well, not in words, not in action. Well, maybe action. By putting him out there, continue to give him leverage.
And last night we talked about technically what the Marlins have tried to work with Ellington on, and Juan Nieves, and that is a little more of a compact delivery. It's hard to be compact when you're this big and throw that hard, but the feeling is he's a little more bent over, a little more compact in his stretch. Couple good breaking balls there, and it's 1-2.
Well, and that's a good story, if you will, excuse the pun, but that's what you want, is the hitters expanding their zone, or at least showing some element of respect, or the willingness to chase And that's the definition of respect for a relief pitcher, is that when you throw your slider, they're not just spitting on it because it's 6 inches off the outside corner and it's an easy take.
Two balls and 2 strikes. And as we noted last night, Mattingly really having to finesse the bullpen. The closer today for the Marlins is probably Junichi Tazawa. Brad Ziegler has worked 2 days in a row. You heard him say that on Marlins Live last night in the postgame. The first time he'd done that. And Ellington, high fastball at 97, gets the strikeout of Story.
And that's some confidence and conviction right there. 3 sliders in a row to the outside corner. Back inside at 97. This is what you love. He's got that kind of talent.
Now you get Parra. RBI single and a double in 3 trips today. And look, along with Ziegler, Drew Steckenrider has been used frequently. Dustin McGowan as well. As the roles shift and guys like Steckenrider and McGowan move into high leverage spots, Tazawa, after struggling for a good part of the season, is back in that role. That means the guys behind them move up a rung on the ladder as well. Because of injuries and trades, that Marlins bullpen depth has really been taxed. Nick Whitgren, the Marlins miss his versatility. He's on the disabled list. Kyle Bearclaw threw in a game yesterday, and the Marlins are hopeful that in the next couple of days he's ready to go. He'll be an enormous addition when he jumps back into that bullpen. 2-0 pitch. Parra going after it.
Well, that's the gift right there. 97, just reaching back and bringing it. 2-0 pitch. Hitter knows it's coming. He's coming out of his shoes. Able to catch up with the 97 miles an hour. Listen, you know, the younger guys, Steckenriders, the Ellingtons, you're going to move at your own pace. You'd love to say, yeah, we're just going to let them go a month or 2 from now. They'll be an 8th and 9th inning combination. Well, sometimes you got to let the kids grow up. Steckenrider seems like he's growing maybe just the quickest. Secondary pitches are really coming along. Ellington's right there, though, as far as stuff.
Yeah, if the tweak that they've made to his delivery is something he can repeat, and he throws the way he did last night when he was compact and is blowing 97 and is able to mix in that slider, throw that changeup, which he's been throwing more often.
Well, he's got, I mean, Ellington has always got the one fallback that everybody wishes they had, which is extreme velocity, high velocity. So even when the slider gets a little bit away or the changeup isn't working perfectly, he still a lot of times could just blow hitters away.
There's the changeup at 88. And he's 3-2 on Gerardo Parra on a Sunday in Miami. The Fish going for a sweep of the Colorado Rockies, who enter today in one of the wild card spots in the National League. Into the bat, Rojas sets a tricky play, and he makes it look easy.
Well, he sure did. Great read by Rojas. Broken bat. You've got to read how that ball's coming off the bat, and you almost see that little spin to the side. Caught it off the end a little bit. Fantastic job buying space. That's what he did by retreating right there. A couple steps back. Clean catch and throw.
Now Carlos Gonzalez with 2 outs in the 7th. Marlins have Odrisamer Despaigne. He may end up getting an inning here. And like we said, Tazawa, who was off limits last night, is available. Yeah, there's Despaigne. Little roller out towards seconds. Vilas gathers and gets him. How about this bullpen? How about Javi Guerra and Brian Ellington? And it's 5-3 Miami. Giancarlo Michael Cruz Stanton, 42 now. And he homered earlier in this ball game. Stanton getting ready. He was due up second here in the 7th inning. Number 42 for Stanton ties the franchise record held by Gary Sheffield. We thought we'd look back to see where Sheff was in that magical year he had in '96. On August 13th, Gary Sheffield was at 33 home runs and at 90 RBIs. Stanton's solo shot is his 42nd, and he's at 90 RBIs. Derek Dietrich's going to lead it off. Stanton and Yelich will follow. Marlins up by a score of 5-3 and looking for a sweep of the Rockies. But a ways to go in this ball game. There's your season numbers. Stanton owns that list with only Gary Sheffield at 42 and Miggy at 34 also appearing. 250 now on his career. That, of course, is a club record. Every weekday morning, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp go head-to-head on the day's hottest sports topics. Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. It's weekdays from 9:30 a.m. to noon Eastern, only on FS1. And I sure hope we don't hear those guys, like many in the first 3-4 months of the season, talk about Aaron Judge and say things like, we've never seen anything like this in Major League Baseball. I've heard that many times. Yeah, we've never seen anything like this, Judge. The balls that he hits, the distance he hits, the exit speeds, we've never seen anything like that.
Well, then you haven't been paying attention, or your eyes have been closed for quite some time, because it's been going on down here in Miami for a little while.
There's Derek Dietrich. And look, Aaron Judge is going to have a great career. And he's going to do a lot of the things that Stanton has done in due time. But he has not had a very good second half. Stanton has just been on an incredible roll. Dietrich up. Antonio Sensatella is still in there for the Rockies. Dietrich at 0 for 2 with a walk. Now it's 3-0. Remember, Dietrich, in his last at bat, 2 called strikes, strike 2 and strike 3, were both outside Fox tracks. Here's the 3-0. And there's a strike. And he's taken 3 outside and 1 inside. That's a strike. Looked like a strike, although Dietrich, and it was.
Same lane, just a little higher.
Dietrich lines it to left. Parra's backing up, and he makes the catch. And here is Stanton now for his 4th at bat and his 1st at bat against Sensatella.
42 home runs on the season now, 42 by August 13th. Last player to do that, Chris Davis, 44, August 13th, 2013. Finished with 53. I don't know if he was this hot, though.
Pitch misses down low. Stanton bounced to short his last time up. 9 homers his last 10 games, 21 homers his last 33. The pitch is out. Ottavino pitching carefully here, or excuse me, Sensatella. And if Ottavino was out there, he'd be pitching carefully
too
as well. There's a strike.
Stanton is tied with Frank Robinson for 10th youngest to reach 250 home runs, 27 years, 278 days.
Thought about it. It's 2-2. Plenty of the plate. Let's see where Sensatella goes. Oh, strike 3 called. Stan doesn't like it. Stays in the box. He and Holberg discuss. It was out.
Sensatella dials up the low corner. We'll get the call at 98 miles an hour. See, Fox tracks just outside the box. Been a lot of conversations at home plate today.
Now Yelich. Ball and a strike. Sensatella into his 2nd inning in relief. This was a German Marquez start. He went 4 1/3. Adam Ottavino finished off the 5th. All right. And the mystery as to who would close. Junichi Tazawa is up. So that means a couple things. Quite possibly, Brad Ziegler went to his manager and said, hey, I can go. Or Odrisamer Despaigne may be an option. There's a 1-2. Fastball up. As we noted for Don Mattingly, he doesn't have a full deck. He's been able to get some terrific work from Javi Guerra, who bailed the Marlins out in the 5th and then went 1-2-3 in the 6th. And then Brian Ellington, It was 1-2-3 in the 7th. Yelich takes. And a 3-2 to Yelich. Got him. Good sharp breaking ball. And a 1-2-3 inning for the Fish in the 7th. In Miami and a 5-3 lead for the Marlins. Yeah, another Stanton home run. And yes, so far another really nice ball game for a bullpen that has taken its hits in terms of personnel. Well, they were super last night, and today so far so good. Here's Junichi Tazawa. He'll get Pat Valleca, Ryan McMahon, and Ryan Hannigan. That's 6, 7, 8 in the Rockies order. And the question here is, if the Marlins are in a closing situation in the 9th, who might it be?
Tazawa's been throwing the ball very well of late. Did give up a run a couple of outings ago in Washington, D.C. One good inning here against the Colorado Rockies already. Picked up a strikeout. No walks. One clean inning. Got the win.
Here's Pat Valleca now. Getting the start. And Valleca takes a strike. He got the start at short and has moved over to third with the injury to Arenado.
Blake a couple base hits his first 2 times up. Big pop out last time up in the 5th.
Tazawa fastball that misses up and in the count 1-2. We've not heard anything from the Rockies clubhouse or Rockies PR on Arenado's hand. There are x-ray facilities here in the building. This was the pitch. Arenado turning in, and that hand came right down into that path.
It's so interesting. We've kind of compared the two approaches from Arenado and Stanton. We've even taken it as far as talking about how Stanton can now so freely get out of the way of pitches on the inside part of the plate. Arenado has a little harder time doing that as his feet are moving up until the point where he kind of gets them both down and he's ready to swing. He stays open. That's a pretty good look right there of what happens when you're not able to turn away from that pitch on the inside part of the plate.
Vallejo with a full count here against Tazawa. And he rolls one through the left side for his third hit of the ball game. Well, a spot start as Trevor Story continues to struggle at the plate. It's been Story's glove that has kept him in the lineup on a daily basis. But Vallejo here
continues to hit. He's going to find himself getting more playing time, particularly on the road. This Rockies team has struggled a little bit more on the road. They got off to a fantastic start this year. We've talked about it, documented it throughout the series. You know, the winning record. They've only had one winning record on the road in their history. It's back to 2009 when they were a game over. Now, great start on the road this year, but they've been given an awful lot back, and they're searching for offense right now.
Here's McMahon. He has split his time this year between AA and AAA. He only hit .354. Only had 37 doubles in 108 games. 19 homers. A little more than half of those games were at a hitter's paradise in Albuquerque. So I guess the Rockies are now their AAA home. They are the Isotopes. For the longest time, AAA outpost for Colorado was Colorado Springs.
Right.
Which certainly simulated altitude without the humidor.
Well, right. It's the laugh about it. Many people who went through the PCL that period of time.
And there's the first major league hit for McMahon. Vallejo will stop at second. Tazawa's given up 2 hits to start the 8th. Mom and girlfriend pretty happy. Rockies get that baseball. Now Tazawa. There's the authenticator. The authenticator is hired by Major League Baseball at all Major League parks in both clubhouses and during the game. When a milestone or something comes out of the game, that authenticator will put a Major League Baseball hologram on it, which identifies that object. It's a unique hologram that is then recorded. Hannigan, and you've got Mark Reynolds on deck.
Well, this doesn't appear like it's going to be easy, Rich. Top of the 8th, runners on first and second, nobody out. Rockies in this series 5 for 29 with runners in scoring position. It's going to take some good pitching that's going to get them out of this. The Marlins.
You know, one thing,
the sweep.
And one thing for Tazawa is with that split, he does get ground balls.
He's got to set it up, though. Got to the split finger against McMahon and was able to get it through the right side.
Well, he had the setup with the first pitch fastball, and there's the split, and that's strike 2. Hannigan getting the start in the final game of this series. Jonathan Lucroy has been behind the plate for the first 2. 0-2 to Hannigan. Valleca at second. McMahon at first. On the ground, there's one, and there's two. Two very large outs. Aviles to Rojas to Talis.
I can't help but acknowledge the number of times from JT Realmuto to Juan Nieves made their way out to the mound at certain times to get this right. Prior to this pitch, 2 different times today, led right into a double play. Good to see. And again, down, looking for contact. They get it. There you go. JT Realmuto, who just visited him.
Now he's got a tough hitter. Guy that has the power to knock one out of here, and that's Mark Reynolds. So he's done damage this year. He's kind of revitalized his career somewhat. Has a chance to hit 30 homers this year. He was a Rocky last year.
Two for 7 in the series for Reynolds. RBI last night, a couple walks in the series as well.
Calls that pitch back. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. Check swing, little tapper. Rojas has it, fires, got him, and Junichi Tazawa pitched himself into trouble and then out of trouble. And the bullpen holds. Ozuna climbs out, gets ready to go. We saw earlier in this series that poster of Ozuna. Remember, superhero night was Friday night. Spider-Man on the wall, which reminded everybody of this from earlier this season.
Beautiful catch.
There you go. Ozuna getting ready to lead off here. Bottom 8, 5-3. Marlins on top. We've been talking about both bullpens. For the Rockies, Carlos Estevez checks into the ball game. Estevez gets Ozuna, Realmuto, and Talise. For the Marlins bullpen, Don Mattingly had 2 or 3 guys that were off limits or heavy workloads, and guess what? It is Despaigne who is up, and Odrisamer Despaigne looks like Don Mattingly's option to close this ball game. Ozuna single back in the 5th. Miami has just 7 hits. One of those, the 42nd homer of the season for Giancarlo Stanton. That was back in the 3rd. Another, a 2-strike gem by Vance Worley of all people in the 2nd. Worley lined it to right with 2 outs to score 2. Fastball up and Ozuna walks. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday. When things move to Monday, El Dorado invites you to settle in with us as the Giants and the Marlins, couple lefties going for the Giants. Ty Block can swing the bat a little bit too. It's a Giant tradition. Adam Conley goes for the Fish. And that's tomorrow night, 6:30 for Marlins Live. So Odrisamer Despaigne starts his routine for the 9th. And with that in mind, an extra run here or there would be certainly nice.
That's for anybody. Marcel getting on base certainly creates some opportunity, maybe hit and run or put somebody in motion. JT Realmuto up, struggling a little bit, handles the bat very, very well.
Realmuto on to center field. Blackman charges. It falls. And Ozuna safely to 2nd. That's a base hit for JT.
Yeah, great to see. Good start to the bottom of the 8th. Now, we've told you there's been a lot of productive at-bats from the bottom of this Marlins lineup. They want those insurance runs. They're going to have to execute situationally. Talise has hit the ball hard all 3 times today.
There's nobody out. You got Rojas and then Aviles. Strike 1 to Talise. Always known as a better hitter than a defensive catcher. The fact that he's a switch hitter makes him pretty valuable. And the fact that he can catch as well.
Well, he's starting to pick up first base too. And a couple of nice plays over there throughout this series against the Rockies.
Estevez with 2 strikes. You can see the look on Talise's face.
Well, he walked Ozuna on 4 pitches. Base hits Realmuto early in the count. Dots the corners, 97 and 98 miles an hour to him.
Talise caught there. Valleca out there. That's a double play and a spectacular one. Pat Valleca, remember, started it short. Arenado is out, and that was very Arenado-like.
Well, it certainly was. Talise has gone the other way with a couple of strikes, 2 steps and a jump. Clean catch there. Anticipating Ozuna, that's the communication, that's the verbal kind on the infield. I'm sure he's getting a message that Ozuna took a couple hard steps towards 3rd. That's a pretty spectacular play. You say, well, where's Ozuna going? It certainly should have been a freeze, but 1 step usually doesn't cost you a double play. Credit the Rockies for being on their toes.
So the Marlins are left with a runner at 1st and Rojas at the plate. And Talise has hit the ball hard all 4 times now. Whenever he hit that hard out at first base back in the 5th. Rojas singled and scored in the 4th. And a high pop-up. A lower degree of difficulty, and Valleca makes the catch. Odrisamer Despaigne coming out of Miami's bullpen. Is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, and nothing to hide. By Jeep. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Hurry into the Summerbration sales event today. Miami is 3 outs away from a sweep. 5-3. Marlins on top. And it's Odrisamer Despaigne that's coming in. D. Gordon arrives as the Marlins change things defensively.
Yeah, D. Gordon in at second base. Aviles is going to slide over to first. Despaigne into the ball game, so they're D'ing up a little bit. Despaigne really good at getting the ball on the ground. So you want to get D. Gordon involved.
So Aviles now at first. Now Odrisamer Despaigne is not your prototypical closer. In fact, he's only been a closer in AAA. This year, he had 2 saves at New Orleans. He does not have a major league save. But he's a veteran, so you would expect he would be hard to rattle. And guess who's leading off? Charlie Blackmon. And Despaigne whips one in there for a strike.
Oh, he is their leadoff hitter.
Despaigne, the choice for Don Mattingly. Mattingly had to really finesse last night's bullpen, and today even more so. How about a changeup for strike 2?
Well, it's certainly part of the arsenal. You're going to see the fastball and the cutter along with the changeup. Occasional curveball from Despaigne.
With a 2-run lead, the Marlins have gone Javi Guerra, Brian Ellington, Junichi Tazawa, and now Despaigne.
On the last 2 ball games, the Marlins bullpen has had to end it by going through the top of the Rockies lineup minus Arenado.
Fumbled, picked up, flipped, out number 1.
MLB.TV every night, every device. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live, plus get a free subscription to @Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
The biggest outs out of the pen were Javi Guerra's, and that was in the 5th. He inherited 2nd and 3rd and nobody out, and he got out of it. He then would pitch the 6th inning, so he has 2 innings in the book. Ellington went 1-2-3 in the 7th. Tazawa wobbled at the start of the 8th, gave up 2 hits, got a double play ball and a ground ball, and he was out of it. Here's LeMahieu. Despaignet's got the first out in the 9th.
Colorado Rockies have been swept in a series 3 times this year. All 3 on the road. All 3 since June 25th at the Dodgers, at San Francisco, at St. Louis.
Despaigne looks like this is old hat.
Hasn't broke a sweat yet, has he?
He misses outside, and that road number that you just talked about, the sweeps, it's indicative of what the Rockies have been like this season. They started 24-10 on the road and are 6-20 since. 2-2 pitch to LeMahieu. Fouled at the plate. Despaigne pitched well down in New Orleans, especially right before he was called up. And he's a versatile guy, and he's being asked to do a lot of different things.
But that's what you ask of the veterans. Rich, Don Mattingly's going to ask it of Ziegler. He's going to ask it of McGowan. That's the responsibility for the older guys in this bullpen. The younger guys are the ones that you're going to protect a little bit more.
Pop up, Avila's out, Gordon there, and D. Gordon slides and makes the catch.
That's why you bring him in the ball game, folks. See that athleticism.
And of course, it's our Bonefish catch of the game. Great fish, great cocktails, great times. Head to Bonefish Grill.
Nicely done. Good closing speed from D. Gordon off the bench. There's a big out.
Three parts of Miami's bullpen essentially not available in this ball game. You mentioned their names: Ziegler, McGowan, Steckenrider. And so in their spot in high leverage situations, Javi Guerra for 2 innings, Brian Ellington for an inning, and Tazawa for the 8th. Story in Arenado's spot, the 2-0 pitch. Story hits it left center field. Yelich is back. Yelich is there. Ball game. The Marlins sweep the Rockies. How about that for a first major league save for Odrisamer Despaigne? Giancarlo hits his 250th, his 42nd to tie Gary Sheffield. And the Marlins sweep. What a weekend here in Miami.
Lots of offense, lots of Stanton. How about lots of bullpen, Rich? They were outstanding all series long. Big outs today, and another victory.
That should make for a lively edition of Marlins Live. 5-3, Marlins sweep the Rockies. Marlins Live's coming up.